Good day, fellow Filipinos. Welcome back to our channel, where we discuss the latest and most important updates about the modernization of our armed forces. Today, we're diving into a very exciting topic, a drone boat developed by our very own Filipino engineers. But this isn't just any drone boat. This is a prototype of a suicide drone boat, an unmanned surface vessel or USV that can explode upon impact with its target, whether a ship or a fixed structure. At first, it may sound intense or even alarming, right? But in reality, this is a cutting-edge example of asymmetric warfare, where the goal isn't to match the enemy's firepower ship for ship or missile for missile, but instead to use intelligence, strategy, and technology to defend our territory. According to a report by the Inquirer, this project was locally initiated, meaning it was built entirely through the efforts of Filipino engineers. No foreign contractors. No imported systems. It is 100% homegrown. That alone makes this a significant milestone in Philippine defense innovation. So let's dive into the full story. But before we begin, let's remember, building a stronger Philippines is not only about military strength. It also requires good governance, fighting corruption, rejecting political fanaticism, and combating fake news. All of these are essential for true national stability and security. So why do we need this kind of project? The answer is simple: to strengthen the Philippines' defense capabilities using affordable yet effective technology. Amid ongoing tensions in the West Philippine Sea and increasing pressure from larger powers, we need to find ways to protect our sovereignty, even with limited resources. The suicide drone boat is a low-cost naval asset that can be deployed against larger ships, especially in scenarios where we cannot afford to send out our frigates or missile-capable warships. Several countries have already developed similar technologies. For example, in the Middle East, some rebel groups have used drone boats to attack military vessels. In the US, unmanned surface boats are being used to launch reconnaissance drones. But here's the beautiful part. We, Filipinos, are making our own. We're not importing. We're not copying. This is being built from the ground up by our own local talent. Let's talk about the specs of this prototype. According to reports, this Filipino-made suicide drone boat has a maximum displacement of 650 kilograms. That includes the boat's structure, engine, fuel, and payload. It's all calculated within that weight. It has a 120-liter gasoline tank, enough for medium-range missions or sea trials. But according to the developers, it can also run on alternative power sources, so the design is flexible. Since it's an unmanned surface vehicle, USV, it operates without a crew. It can be programmed to follow a GPS route, or remotely controlled via satellite or radio signal. In simple terms, it can sail toward a target with no human on board. The design resembles a small speedboat capable of carrying an explosive payload. The concept is straightforward. Launch the drone boat, navigate it toward the target, and when it's close enough, boom. In military terminology, it's called a loitering munition on water. This prototype is currently in the development phase, but according to sources, it's soon to undergo comprehensive sea trials to test its performance in real ocean conditions, its stability in rough waters, range, speed, and response time. There is no final weapons integration yet, but the structural design allows for modular payloads, meaning the explosive or equipment on board can be swapped depending on the mission. So what are the practical uses of this kind of drone boat? First, it serves as a deterrent against intruder vessels. You don't need a missile frigate to scare off a small ship encroaching on your waters. A suicide drone boat can send a strong message. Our seas are not easy to violate. Second, it can be used in direct action against sea-based threats. For example, if a foreign ship is harassing our fishermen, this boat can be deployed as a quick response unit. Even without explosives, it can serve as a high-speed reconnaissance or pursuit drone. Third, it's a force multiplier. Since it's inexpensive to produce, we can build multiple units. That means Even with limited naval assets, we could deploy 10 or 20 drone boats to defend key coastal areas. And fourth, it has civilian or rescue potential in the future. If you remove the explosive payload, it can be converted into an autonomous patrol boat or an environmental monitoring vessel. Of course, not everything is positive. There are concerns surrounding the use of suicide drone boats. First, the ethical issue. When an unmanned vehicle is used in combat, who is accountable if there's collateral damage? What happens if a civilian is hit? How do we regulate its use? Second, cybersecurity. Since it's remotely operated, there's always a risk it could be hacked or hijacked by hostile forces. That's why secure communication protocols are essential. Third, legality and oversight. There must be clear guidelines about who is authorized to deploy this technology. It cannot be used recklessly or without chain of command control. And fourth, public perception. The term suicide drone boat can sound frightening. That's why public education is key, to explain that this is a defensive system, not an offensive weapon. It's not meant to attack, but to protect. But if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, this project has massive potential for the modernization of Philippine defense. First, it shows that Filipino engineers are capable of developing our own military tech. We don't always have to rely on imported systems. With enough government and private sector support, this kind of innovation can significantly boost the long-term capabilities of the armed forces. Second, it could become a future export product. Other countries in Southeast Asia and Africa that face similar maritime challenges might consider buying this kind of affordable USV, especially if it's proudly made in the Philippines. Third, it could revitalize the local defense industry. If innovation continues, it would open up jobs for engineers, technicians, suppliers, and logistics teams. And lastly, it could pave the way for advanced autonomous naval warfare. Right now, it's just a prototype. But in the future, we could develop swarm-capable drone boats that can coordinate with each other for more sophisticated and layered coastal defense strategies. Fellow Filipinos, the suicide drone boat project by our local engineers is a historic step forward for our nation. In the midst of global tensions and rapidly evolving warfare, we are fighting back, not with numbers or brute force, but with intelligence and strategy. While others are investing in aircraft carriers, we are creating low-cost, effective drone boats built by Filipinos for Filipinos. The message is clear. We refuse to be left behind. We can do this. The Filipino can. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment below with your thoughts, and subscribe for more updates on defense innovations and local tech developments. This is PH Malaya, your channel for modern and patriotic information. Until next time, mabuhay ang Pilipinas!